Once upon a time, Vicki was trapped by the curse of her thoughts. It had her believing she was powerless, imperfect, and weak. Then one day, the curse started to lessen, and Vicki could see a little clearer. As each day passed, her thoughts improved until she broke free. She then began creating magic in her life. Now, Vicki is getting ready to marry her Prince Charming. This is her manifesting success story. Hello and welcome to this episode. This is the fourth in the series with Vicki, who, if you've been listening for the past couple of months, you've been listening to her journey from about 2 or 3 years in to her law of attraction manifesting success, maybe just 1 year in, to now, which we're recording this April 1st, 2023, where she has been using the law of attraction right for the past 5 years. Is that the way I should say it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just laughing because it's so right, but it's so on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if this does happen to be the first time that you've clicked on our show, go back to the past couple episodes, go back all the way to the start of Vicki's journey. And you'll really understand that statement because, like me, Vicki is, there's 2 points of your law of attraction journey. One where you weren't doing it right, and one where you figured out how to do it right and it's working.
Yeah.
And so you've been in that phase of manifesting and creating successfully for about 5 years. And we're going to keep talking about why that is and what's the difference in what you've been doing. So last episode, we talked about all these things that you were doing, how it might have even been making you feel more depressed when you were trying to use the law of attraction to create a better life. So go back and listen to that. But where we're going to start this week is very fun. Vicki, does your life look exactly the way you wanted it to look 5 years ago?
Absolutely not. No.
What?
No, I know. And like, that might sound like, oh, she must have done it wrong, but it's not. I had kind of an aha, like 2.5 years in, pretty much halfway through. I don't know, maybe 3 years in, somewhere in there. Anyway, I realized kind of all at once that the life I was pushing, looking back, the life I was pushing to create was no longer feeling good. And it was like no longer resonating with me. I no longer felt the pull to be a movie star or a Broadway star. It was kind of an aha. I wanted something. I kind of woke up one day and was like, I want something different. This is not the life I want.
Right?
Like either the life I was living and also the life I was like on the path for,
Yeah.
So no, my life doesn't look like how I wanted it when I started, and thank goodness, because I don't want it that way anymore.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I will share my thoughts on why I think that happens, but I would love to hear, like, you're training to be a coach. By this time this comes out, you probably will be taking clients. So if you love Vicki's story, go to Enchanted Life U and you can register to work with her and pay us after you manifest. But as a coach, as somebody who's been making the law of attraction work for 5 years, like, do you have any suspicions or do you know why that aha popped up or how that was created? If not, that's cool.
Well, I think it's because I think part of it was like, no, it's not it. It was generalizing, like learning how to generalize what I wanted and not go off of other people's ideas of success.
Yeah.
And not that anyone was telling me what success looked like, but you get social cues from people and the world too, growing up, what success looks like. But through the work with you, I learned how to open up to see lots of things as success, not just the yacht, which like I don't want.
Yeah.
And by opening up and accepting and celebrating all different kinds of success, I think it opened me up to receiving the inspiration that what I was initially creating was no longer success in my mind.
Yes, like I
What would
wanted
you
something
think?
different.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing answer and hugely
Mhm.
a part of it. And um which ties into what I'm about to say, which is I think when we script and we really script, we use our formula, we use the dedicated way of stepping into your future self. That scripting is so real that
Mm.
oftentimes we get what we thought we wanted through the script and we're like, oh yeah, I don't need any more of that. I
Mhm.
actually want this, like it, because we have been so like, for a long time. And for you, you're an actor. So of course the definition of success was a movie or a Broadway star, right? Nobody
Mhm.
teaches actors to like go do things that make you feel good and live a fun life, right? It's
Mhm.
always a push for this. It's always a push. And if you're not getting it, you're probably not good enough and all these other
Mhm.
things, but it's not really taught like create this fun life and do a production because it feels fun, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
That's why you start in the beginning. But then when we start pushing that to be a career or a job or even a dream, I think that then we automatically start to go with what you're talking about, that those success points, and that's the only thing that means I was successful at it. Not do I love it and I love my life. And so I think when we start to script those things, we really get to be like, that was really cool. And yeah, I don't want that. And it
Mm.
doesn't mean the script was wrong. It means it was part of us being able to see that bigger picture, that opening. What else is success? What do I really want? I could totally have
Mm.
that because I can see it, feel it, taste it. I know it's
Mhm.
possible. But then you really get to choose, like, yeah, but I don't want it, instead of
Yeah.
like trying to push for it because you think that's the only way to get it.
And how freaking powerful is that? That like, this is everyone else's definition of success and XYZ, and I don't need it.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I love the way you said that because so much about like truly learning how to manifest is about identifying your own versions of success and what feels good to you.
And I don't think people talk about that enough in LOA and teaching LOA is learning how to honor and hear your own guidance and your own wants and needs. I think there's a lot of definitions around success and prosperity and abundance. And people think if I'm not getting what everybody else says is success, then I'm failing. But you can find your own definition of all of these things. And that's really powerful.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
that own definition, those things that are really true for you that don't come from the outside manifest way quicker than anything you're
Yeah.
trying to push, right?
Right, right. Which is like that's yeah, it's so powerful. It's funny that people don't talk about that more or coach that more when they're teaching LOA is to like find what's true to you inside you for you and go use that as your diving board. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So is there any other differences in, that we want to talk about as terms of like why this is working, why your life looks different now? Um,
I mean, a little bit of worthiness too.
mhm.
Mm, yeah, yeah, because I had to learn how to be worthy of love and kindness and respect to
Yeah.
open up to let go of certain things that were not giving me love and kindness, respect, and like to say, I am worthy of this and you're not giving it to me, so bye. And
Yes.
opening up to more because I finally felt I was worthy of good and all of the good things I wanted.
Yes.
Mhm.
And worthiness is huge. And I think it's where people get twisted. There's sometimes this, well, if you don't have it, it must mean you don't believe you're worth it. But then the
Mhm.
ways that we go about building that worth don't often work.
Mhm.
I saw it with you and I see it with a lot. I see it with myself too, is like scripting and really being in it and then choosing and practicing every day is that's how we change that worthiness, right? Like we see ourselves getting it in this future place and then we start to act on
Mhm.
that and really, oh, yeah, I am worth that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's so powerful. Like the biggest part I think is making choices in your day-to-day life that reflect that worthiness. It's like I choose to no longer be here because you're being an a-hole, or like, like,
Yeah.
or, I choose to continue hanging out with you, or like continue doing XYZ because it makes me feel worthy. And again, kind of going back to other people's definitions of what makes you feel worthy too.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us about the difference between the first 2.5 years that you're, using the law of attraction, right? And being successful, and compared to the last 2.5 years. For you, I think there's definitely kind of a middle point where 2.5 years was something and 2.5 years was something else.
So what was the question? What was the difference?
Yeah, between the first 2.5 years, what do you think you spent? What were the first 2.5 years about versus the last 2.5 years?
The first 2.5 years, I think, were about building trust and confidence. Um,
And opening up.
like, yeah, and opening up and learning. I want to back up a little bit, because the first 2.5 years, I feel like I was trying to create a dream I had created when I was 17.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of pushing to get that 17-year-old dream fulfilled. And I was doing a lot of forcing and pushing and clinging to it. And around when I turned 30, which is about 2.5 years in, or no, around when I turned, wait, when did I start working with you? Doesn't matter. I started working with you, and then like 2.5 years in, I got this epiphany. And I think like working with you is what taught me how to keep all of the doors open and generalize, and learn how you can name lots of things as abundance and not just the dream you created when you're 17. Like all
Yes.
of these different things can be abundance. It doesn't have to be this one specific outline you created for yourself at a certain point in time, because that was true for me at the time. And it was what I wanted. But like, I don't know, you grow, you learn, things change, life changes. And I no longer want that 17-year-old's dream. I want the dream I have now for myself.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about on, that, and what's the difference between your life that you thought you'd have and the life now that you've created?
Well, I would like to point out the fact, I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot. It took me, like, I decided I wanted a different life like 2 years ago, and now I have it.
Yay! Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is so quick. And
Right?
it's such a good point, because sometimes that first work we do, all of the things where we're still pushing something that we wanted, but we're also getting it, through the law, like scripting mostly and doing all that. Like it's opening us up. And then it comes real fast when we get, it's funny because we say like it comes fast when we get clear, and it does, but sometimes you got to do some work to get the clarity that is not being specific, which is weird, because I think most people yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes hard to quantify. Like we want to be specific in certain areas and very general in other areas. And I had to learn how to get general before I could get specific.
Amazing.
And like trust the generic. Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Trust the generic. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So what were 3 LOA mistakes that you were making 5 years ago?
I was micromanaging my manifesting, aka not trusting and like focusing on the how. Like, how do I get this? How do I manifest this? How do I become a star? X, Y, yada, yada. I was using money and spending money to numb my feelings instead of feeling my feelings. And I was not applying my manifesting lessons to my everyday life, to like the rest of my time outside of the work.
Yes. I love it. All right. So what are 3 keys you would tell listeners today that makes the law of attraction work to manifest money in your dreams?
So there's like, I think,
if there's more than 3, that's fine. No, there's more.
Well, these 3 I think are good foundational things to start from. So the first one is celebrate when you can, because as we all know through law of attraction, what you focus on, you get more of. So celebrating, I call it focus on crack. It's like you're focusing on something, but you're giving it like lots of really big, juicy energy when you're celebrating. So by celebrating something you want more of, you are giving it a lot of focus in that moment. And it's super fun also to celebrate other people's successes and things that you want to. So like if your friend like gets a new job that's $20,000 more than their last job, you celebrate the heck out of that because that's awesome. That's evidence of money showing up in your life. So when you celebrate that, like someone else's success, you are also focusing on that success coming to you. So celebrate when you can. Awareness is the key to change. My second tip. Because when you bring your awareness to your everyday thoughts, actions, and words, you automatically bring control and power to them and to yourself. You will be able to notice your thoughts and actions, and you'll be able to stop it immediately or later on decide that you are going to write a new story. So awareness is very important. And then a big one here, feel your feelings. I'm all about feeling your feelings. Once you learn how to feel your feelings without words or judgment, like we would call it story here, but it was helpful for me in the beginning to say like no words, just feel the feelings, no words anywhere. It's just feelings. And once you get good at that, feeling your feelings is way less drama. I mean, like you feel big feelings, but it's less drama. And even like scheduling time to feel your feelings, don't get weird about that. Just schedule the 15, 20, 30 minutes to an hour you need and don't judge it. Just give yourself time to feel the feelings.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. What's the most surprising thing that you've learned over the last 5 years?
How truly powerful I am.
Yes. Yay.
And how things just appear for me now. I don't have to like decide I want something and then Google 18 different ways to manifest it. I can just like kind of show up and live my life, and the things I want fall before me.
Yes. Amazing. I love it. And I just want to wrap up with talking about this very, very cool concrete difference. You know, right now you technically don't have a job. I mean, you don't have a job. You manifested a job ending, I think, in the most perfect timing for the next phase of your life. But you have more money now, right? That you're not working than you did when you first started and you had 3 jobs. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Let me just repeat that louder for the folks in the back. I have more money now being quote unquote unemployed than I did when I was working 3 jobs or more and like 5 hours a day of manifesting work before I started at Enchanted Life View.
Amazing. And I actually want to add a qualifier. You're not getting unemployment, right? This isn't like, oh, like somehow somebody's like, oh, well, you know, because somehow she's getting more from unemployment. No, this is like without unemployment, no salary. There is more money in your bank account. You are more solid in your finances than when you started and you had over 3 jobs, right?
Isn't that so cool? And I felt like there was a time when back when I was working all those gig jobs, if I was down to like 2 jobs, I'd kind of panic and be like, I need to get another job. I'm not going to make enough money. Yeah. And here I am like taking 2 naps a day. Like, yes. Not stressed at all. And like taking leisurely walks and painting my nails and just like living this leisure life with all of this money sitting in my bank account. And I couldn't have done this without Enchanted Life View. And a little selfishly, I couldn't have done it without the dedication I put in and the continuing to show up every day.
Yes. That's not selfish. It's about you. Like it is the dedication to yourself, right? Yeah. So it can be all this great program. There can be an amazing coach, but if you're not willing to show up for yourself, and especially if you're not willing to show up for yourself when it sucks, then because growing sometimes just sucks. We've talked about that, I'm sure, in previous episodes. But if you're not willing to show up for yourself, it doesn't matter how good any program is, or any coach is, or any friend is, or any book is, anything like that, because it's the commitment to yourself that that creates the change, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. Amazing. And you are in the process of manifesting a job, right?
Yeah.
You've
Mm-hmm.
set your intention. And what are you doing
Yeah.
in the meantime? Because what are you doing now to help you manifest that?
Nothing. I'm just like continuing to do
Yes.
the daily work, the daily assignments, just like normal, and like continuing to plan my wedding like normal, and yeah, continuing to have a social life like normal, and actually I am doing something extra. I'm practicing being present. It feels like I have all this extra space, so I've been like focusing a lot on being present and breathing and listening and hearing and keeping my phone in a different room, that kind of stuff.
Amazing. And you are still following inspiration, right? You're not just expecting someone to knock on your door and like say, come work for me. You're leaving all this space and being present, and do and will follow inspiration when it comes.
Yeah, and I have been following inspiration a bunch of times. I mean, like all the time, but like in terms of the job finding is, yeah, I've been following inspiration, and a couple of them have led to good things. So, and it's been fun to say no.
Yes.
Because I've gotten a bunch of job offers that I just have been like, this doesn't feel good. I can't explain it. I'm not, it's a no.
Oh my gosh, that is so huge. Oh, that's like a whole other episode, is like, but we can sum it up. What you've learned is how to say no to things that don't feel good, which makes manifesting so much easier.
Yeah.
Because just in this job example, if you say yes to a job that doesn't feel good, that means it's not aligned. And so you're going to spend, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 6 months there trying to manifest that job to be better, when what you should have done was just listen to your gut, which is what you're doing now. Listen to your gut, not taking that job, maybe waited another week and taken the job that was aligned.
Right. And that's where the magic is, like sitting in this discomfort of no job and like not a schedule to adhere to every single day, and living into it and loving it and trusting that my inspired action will draw me to the right place. And even I said I'm doing like a trial shift this week at a restaurant. That was, we should just do a whole nother episode at some point about like the difference between like when we say, is it a hell yes and no versus is it inspired action? Like I had a quiet yes.
Yes.
Inspired yes. So we'll talk about that some other time.
I love it. All right. Obviously, we're going to continue to follow Vicki's journey. Vicki is, and when this episode comes out, like I said, probably is taking clients. You can, yes, right? Yay. Because she will still have a job as she transitions to coaching, because coaching here allows you to do more than one thing. That's the way I set it up. It's the way I want it to be. Whether that's always probably won't always be a server job, might look more like acting or helping kids in theater, teaching them. But you get to do both, because coaching isn't overwhelming. It's just part, and it's amazing. And you know how to create the time in your life. So if you love Vicki, you loved her story, and you want to learn and work with her, you want her to be as your coach, your cheerleader, go to enchantedlifeu.com, sign up for Pay After You Manifest, and choose Vicki to be your abundance facilitator, your coach on your own manifesting journey, success story journey.
Yay, come join us.
Yay, I know, right? Anything else you want to add, Vicki, as we wrap up?
Let go and go live, everyone.
Yes. There it is. Let go and go live. We'll see you next time. The telling of stories is so powerful, both to the person telling it and the person receiving it. Since 30,000 BC, we as humans have told stories to teach and guide. And now we, with Manifesting Success Stories, hope to inspire you to what is possible in your own life. If you want more manifesting success, go to moremanifestingsuccess.com, where you'll find links to anything we've talked about on the show. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, you have the power to write your own happy ever after.